I came to Africa 1964, just after Kenya had become independent, and I was a military engineer, training officer, training Kenya soldiers. I suppose I lost my heart to Africa when I first came there, and although I was on secondment from the British Army, I never went back. I went on to work later in Zambia and Sierra Leone, but all my life, my early life in Africa, I'd been distressed by the level of poverty among many people, and it seemed that this was a never-ending cycle of poverty, yet there were a lot of young people very anxious to learn. And I won't say it was a sudden flash of inspiration, but it slowly dawned on me that the young people wanted education, and with educated people it could help to overcome this cycle of poverty. So, in fact, almost from my first years in Africa, I'd always encouraged people privately to go to school or continue their education. And I found they were very quick learners and very dedicated learners, and within a short time, people were achieving wonderful academic results. I suppose it was out of this idea initially that the concept of A-CET grew, and all through my sort of working life, which was mainly in Africa, I'd help people not only with formal education, but to become artists or musicians or dancers, and they'd all, well, they were failures, but pretty much 98% of them were successful, and made successful careers of themselves. Always in the back of my mind was to do more. And the idea of A-CET came to me when I retired from the International Red Cross, and I was about 60, and I was helping 6 or 7 children in the north of Ethiopia with their education. Now, a lot of foreigners help a lot of Africans or youngsters from developing countries with their education, and a lot of them, sadly, when they go home, they don't continue this educational support, and the children feel abandoned and deserted. I was determined not to do this, so when I finally left Ethiopia and Africa at about 60, I was determined to complete the education of those few children I'd already started. When I returned to the UK, I registered with the help of my family the idea of A-CET, and we became formally a registered charity. And at that time, which was about 10 years ago, in 1997, the idea was, I'll say, just to finish the education of these few. Friends and family were supporting me, and they told their friends, and more people wanted to support more youngsters. And so we grew. I can remember after 4 or 5 years thinking, 100 students, that'll be enough, I can remember all their names and that. Well, now we have over 2,000 children. We build schools, and we build school dormitories for residential schools, and we help other organizations with AIDS orphans and street children, but always with an educational bent. So we've grown out of all recognition to what my initial modest thoughts were 10 years ago. and I've never regretted it. It's kept you young, it's kept me young, working with young people. Thank you very much.